Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. I want to bring you guys a little update on Digibyte. Right now we're at 0.01464. We're up 0.05%. And some things that we've been going over, they're kind of happening, guys. So that's what I just wanted to bring to you and show you the update of things, what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing, how things are playing out in my opinion. If you all could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're trying for 100 likes in this video. I appreciate each and every one of you being here with me. And I know you guys like Digibyte. Obviously, we all think it's a good project, and there's a lot happening for it. So it's exciting to see that we're having some, short-term uptrends and some good things happening here on the one-day chart. So let's dig into it. First of all, guys, we're looking at our Fibonacci. From this move right to here, we've been falling down. We came into here. We basically had this bullish engulfing candle, and we started to get pushed to the upside. And we've had a really strong move here to all the way up to this 200-day moving average where we saw rejection. Now, what we saw here is that we wanted to try to find support at the 0.236, which is actually extremely bullish. If we were to get a serious bounce off that and get over top of that 200-day moving average and start closing up above that, that would show extreme bullishness. All right, so if that's not the case, because we have been kind of putting in this doji today, we're going to have to see what happens here, just kind of chopping sideways. I would look down here to this 0.382 at 0.0129. That's coinciding with this 200-day EMA right there, and that's the spot where there could be a potential strong bounce off right there, because we've been getting a lot of support. You see this whole uptrend move. We were having bullish engulfing candles, all that taking place on this 20 EMA. So a pullback down into this, which would also be the 0.382, that would be a perfect spot to potentially get a bounce. We'd have to watch that volume and see what's happening though, right? We always want to have confirmation before we get into a trade. That's the key thing. Now, if that were not to hold, I would look for a back test of this trend line that we broke out of. And that would also be around this 0.618, where we've had a lot of retracements to this year. And that's kind of happening with this golden cross as well, where we're having our 50 moving over our 100. And that'd probably plant us right up in this area. So that wouldn't be another bad spot for a nice healthy pullback down into that area before we blast up and get over this 200-day moving average. We're going to need a lot of volume and a lot of strength to get over top of that. You see how extended we got on this, and that's why we failed, because that's big overhead resistance. We haven't been back over top of that in quite a while, guys. We've been in this long bear market for 14 months. We got to look at that, and then we're also looking at the fact too. Look at the RSI. The RSI was just as high when the price was lower over here, and then the price continued to run up, but our RSI basically had almost a double or a triple top here potentially. We're going to have to see what happens here. But that's why I was talking about it. It would be good for a nice healthy retracement back to one of these, the 0.382 or the top of this trend line, find some good strong support, and then continue this move. We want to go from this short-term uptrend into that intermediate term uptrend into that long-term uptrend, and it's a process and it's a game, and you have to have those cooling off periods. You have to, it's just like a human breathing or whatnot. The market has to breathe because these RSI numbers have to go down. You can't have your RSI up at 93. No one's going to be buying that, and it has to cool down before it can make another move further. And that's what you have to study, and that's the stuff you have to pay attention to, are these reactions. I've spent a lot of time really digging into reactions, especially out of bear markets where we'd have this big plummet, and then here's your reaction, guys. Right there is a reaction, and that's a big move in terms of percentage, and then we made another lower low, lower highs, lower lows in that bear market. And now we're making higher highs and higher lows in this short-term uptrend that we've been in. And we're up above this 20 EMA, and we're up above the 50 moving average, and we're up above the 100 moving average, and we have the golden cross taking place, but we have this 200-day moving average coming overhead. So eventually we're going to have to make either a move to the upside or to the downside. One of the two is going to happen. But I don't feel like we have enough strength right now. We need that breathing period before we can get back up over there. But remember, in cryptocurrency, anything can happen, and I'm not your financial advisor. A big whale can come and move in, even when this wouldn't make any type of sense with where the RSI is at and the price moving up and all the divergence and everything taking place. And a whale could bump it up to 98 on the RSI and then rip it out and take their profit, and then, it can fall for the next 3 weeks. We've seen it happen so much in this market. So you always have to be prepared for everything. Excuse me. Use your stop losses, have good risk management, risk to reward management. Those are the things you really want to focus on. But in terms of this Fibonacci, that's where we're at, guys. Right now we're going to have to see if this 0.236 is going to hold and act as support, or if we're going to start dropping through that. So let me get that out of our way. Next thing, the volume is kind of tailing down. You see our price was going up, but volume's going down, so that's another thing. Our RSI is a little overextended there in the overbought territory. We kind of look like a double top, kind of topping out there. We had a lot of wicks up here coming into that 200-day moving average. So, you know, at this time, guys, I'd be patient. I'd look for a nice pullback and see what happens, because there's a lot of good fundamental things that are taking place with this project, and the chart's starting to look better. It just needs that time to breathe. That's the only thing I really have to say with Digibyte right now. It's just being patient, waiting for it to breathe, and let's see if we can get some continued upside. Remember, the whole market's driven upon Bitcoin, so if something happens to Bitcoin or whatnot, anything can change, and then technical analysis, it doesn't do you any good. That's why you have fundamental and technical analysis both. And obviously, I like to put more emphasis on just watching price action and looking at these patterns and charts, because they really play out. And throughout the bear market, we had a lot of good fundamental things, but the problem was we were in a bear market and we weren't getting any good hype or anything around the good things that were happening, and price really doesn't rise then. Excuse me. So, you know, guys, those are the things that I'm looking at. I think it's just being patient. Let's see what happens in this little area right now, and see what it does. This is an exciting time for Digibyte. It's an exciting time for cryptocurrency. Maybe we're in that, you know, accumulation stage, moving sideways a little bit here and trying to change the trend and see if we can get this moving into an intermediate to longer term uptrend. That's what we're looking for, guys. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, my friends.